Week 1 in the Always Sunny in Sayreville League, and finally, the season has begun. It was a great Week 1, a lot of interesting outcomes. We're going to get into a couple of them as we move forward. Only really one major injury. Des Bryant broke his foot. I've read anywhere from 4 weeks to 12 weeks. So it should be interesting to see how that whole situation plays out as the season progresses. But we do have our first rounder down with injury in the first week of the season. So welcome back to football. Across the league, the tight ends were big performers this week. In addition to Gronk opening up the Thursday night scoring with a monster game, Travis Kelce, Jason Witten, Tyler Eifert, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, a lot of tight ends went nuts in Week 1. So I guess that position is a lot deeper than we thought it was going into the draft. The highest scoring player in the league this week was Julio Jones, wide receiver from Shower Hug, with 35.1 points, Bobby. Okay, so I've talked about it before, and I'm going to continue to talk about it until we can all kind of, come to some sort of agreement. December 6th, Sunday, week 13 of the regular season, the final week of our regular season here in the Always Sunny in Sayreville League. The Jets play against the Giants in the afternoon. It's a 1 o'clock game, and I think we should all try and get together. So I'm opening up the floor to you guys. Let's figure out where we can do this. I would love to be able to, host here, but this place is not real at all. None of this is real. So I can't obviously do that. So if anybody has any ideas where we could get together and hang out and watch this game, please let me know. Post it on the Facebook page, post it on the league page, do whatever you want to do. Let's start talking about it. December 6th, Sunday, obviously. Week 13, the final week of the regular season. Jets, Giants. We should be about it for sure. All right. Before we get into the hero and the GOAT and the matchups for this week, I just wanted to point out that we may have just gotten started. It might be just week 1 or going into week 2, but the shit talking in the league is definitely already in mid-season form. During the draft, of course, we had Anthony from Rusty Strombone calling out the moth.
Fuck the moth.
And,
bro, the moth
also,
is going down, bro.
Made a couple other comments about a couple other teams.
I'm going to fucking be a mothball.
So he's ready to go. There's no question about it. As a matter of fact, during the draft, Ortiz, I think he said that I was... What was I doing? I was sucking...
He's sucking Drew Brees' dick.
I was sucking Drew Brees' dick. So, that to me was shocking, and just I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to think. I was horrified. I was embarrassed. And then I remembered that I have this picture. I thought that it was important, given the circumstances, to let Johnny know, never. I control the media. So in a rivalry that's a little more his speed, the talk back and forth between Johnny and Bobby J has just been priceless. It's been one after another, back and forth. Bobby J posting on Facebook. It's just wonderful, the stuff that's going on. I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see that these two guys picked up right where they left off last year, and they play in Week 11. I checked it out, so I'm looking forward to that for sure. So keep up the good work, guys. And Johnny, watch your fucking mouth. All right, guys. Now it's time for this week's GOAT. Week 1's a tough one to predict. You never really know what's going to happen, but you got to do better than this. The open slot lost his game to the Rusty Strombone 159.6 to 97.9. That's a 61.7 point margin, by far the largest margin of defeat in any game this week. Now, the open slot got 20 plus points from both of his running backs, so he's got a pretty good situation there going forward. But his quarterback, his wide receiver 2, and his flex combined for 11.3 points or something. If you're scoring at home, by the way, that's Peyton Manning, Golden Tate, and Sammy Watkins. Now, Sammy Watkins I can understand because that offense is not receiver friendly. But Golden Tate, they didn't pass the ball to even. They didn't even throw to Calvin Johnson in that game. But Peyton Manning, there's no excuse for. He's got to score more than that. There's a lot of people panicking about Peyton Manning right now, by the way. The open slot was the lowest scoring team in the league this week. They were the only team who scored less than 111 points. They only scored 97.9. This was by far the biggest beating of our young season. And for that, the open slot is this week's GOAT. All right, so that brings us to this week's hero. The hero for week 1 in the Always Sunny in Sayreville League 2015 is Bobby J. That's right, she gave me the Crabtrees, who did something this week that he's never done before in his entire history. That's win a game in the first week of the season. Bobby J has never been undefeated. He's never been 1-0. He's never won on the opening weekend of the season until now. Bobby J won his game 140 to 113.4. That's a 26.6 point margin of victory. His 140 points was the third highest total in the league this week. She gave me the Crabtrees, started off with a bang on Thursday night. Rob Gronkowski went crazy for 3 touchdowns and 32.4 points to start Bobby J off on the right foot. Aaron Rodgers came through with 23.1 points, and Bobby J's first 2 picks in the draft paced the team to victory. It's never happened before, but Bobby J is 1-0. He won the first game of the season for the first time in his entire franchise history, and for that, she gave me the Crabtrees is this week's hero. Honorable mention for the hero this week was the Gotham Rogues, who also won on opening weekend for the first time in their franchise history. He also, until this year, had never won on opening weekend, but you wouldn't know it because his team doesn't usually suck as bad as Bobby's. He's been to the playoffs a couple times, and he's competitive. His team this year looks pretty stacked, so it wasn't as big of a deal, you know what I mean? But it deserves an honorable mention anyway. Gotham Rogues 1-0 for the first time in their history as well. All right, guys, key matchups. As always, after 1 week of the regular season, the key matchups are 2 games between teams who won and 2 games between teams who lost. The first matchup is a number 2's division matchup between 1-0 She Gave Me the Crabtrees and 1-0 Shower Hug. Bobby J looking to make it 2 in a row. The next matchup is interdivisional between the 1-0 Rusty Strombone and the 1-0 Gotham Rogues. Now, Anthony, of course, is trying to go on a nice long winning streak like he did last year, and the Gotham Rogues is in uncharted territory, but he's a strong team and he's up and coming, so this is a really solid matchup. On the flip side, we have a Porter Division matchup between 0-1 Bootleg Crableg and 0-1 Toddler Fight Club. 2 teams that usually are battling it out at the top of the division, now both trying to avoid starting out 0-2. The other matchup is a number 2's division matchup, the first meeting this year between the Golden Showers and the Open Slot, the Battle of Bayville. Nobody wants to start 0-2, so these guys are going to be giving it everything they got. All right, guys, that's it. Week 1 update over. I know this one was much shorter, obviously. I'm going to have features as we go on through the season, but I figured after an hour and a half in 2 episodes, you guys could use a break, I could use a break, but I'm looking forward to this season. I hope you guys are too, and I will see you in week 2 where it's always sunny.